Before I start this video, I just want to say that this video is fair use, so all the media used in this video is used for criticism review in a transformative way. All the information I present is public information, and everything else is alleged in my opinion or just a joke. So the first thing I want to talk about is Morphe, because, you know, due to recent events regarding Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, a lot of creators like Jackie Aina have been dropping Morphe and their affiliate codes with them, and this is mainly because they came out with like a statement, or they emailed somebody, I'm pretty sure, because they received concerns about how they dropped Shane Dawson and refused to work with Shane Dawson, but they still support Jeffree Star. And in this email they said, "Please note that we take the feedback from all our customers very seriously. We do not condone or agree with the actions and behavior of Shane Dawson, and they do not in any way reflect Morphe's belief. At this time, we are no longer carrying the conspiracy collection on morphe.com or Morphe stores. It's always been our goal to create a positive, empowering, inclusive community where babes of all backgrounds, races, ethnicities, genders, sexual orientations, beliefs, religions, and socioeconomic statuses feel free to share their artistry. Jeffree Star has acknowledged mistakes made in the past and has apologized, taken accountability, and worked hard to make amends within the community. We completely understand your position and appreciate your valuable feedback." And a lot of people reasonably thought it was a fucking dumb thing to drop Shane Dawson but then keep Jeffree Star, as if his fake ass apologies mean that he's not racist anymore or that he's less of a dickhead. He's still a manipulative bastard, but obviously a lot of people were very mad at this, and they eventually tweeted out saying, "Today we've made the decision to cease all commercial activity related to Jeffree Star and affiliated products. We expect this to conclude within the coming weeks. As we look to the future, we will continue to share updates on what lies ahead for the Morphe brand." And it's very obvious that they just dropped Jeffree Star because people were very mad they didn't drop Jeffree Star. But a lot of the top responses under that tweet were like in support of Jeffree Star, which makes absolutely no sense. One of them said, "It's okay, we can purchase his own amazing makeup with his own formulas on his own website. I understand 100% not stocking the Shane Dawson collection as he's a pedophile, but it is totally unfair on Jeffree Star. Because of him, you've made so much money and had so much promo. Don't buy the hand that feeds you." What I found interesting about this is that they're saying, "Oh, you can't drop Jeffree Star because he's made you so much money," and it kind of gives off the same vibes as when Rylan tweeted out, like, "I hope you enjoyed all the millions of dollars you made from your sold out vitamins because of Shane's support." Like, just because somebody makes you a lot of money, or just because somebody boosted you up or gave you a lot of publicity, doesn't mean you have to continue supporting them when they've been publicly shown to be an absolute asshole who doesn't deserve your support. So because Morphe has made so much money, they should support a racist. Because Morphe has made so much money, they should support a rapist. Because Morphe has made so much money, they should support somebody who holds actual criminal offenses against people as blackmail. Somebody else said, "You lost me as a customer as soon as you got rid of Shane Dawson stuff, and now I'll never walk into one of your stores. Cancel culture is cancer." The next one is very similar. It says, "Congrats on falling for cancel culture. Jeffree never needed you anyway. His formula is leaps and bounds ahead of yours." And obviously they're all white.
The caucasity.
And Eugenia Cooney also came out in support of Jeffree Star and tweeted, "I ordered a cremated palette at my California address, but I'm back in CT right now and found one arrived here. It's so beautiful and I love it so much. I'm not sure if it was sent to me by mistake, but thank you so much, Jeffree Star. I'm super grateful. The past is the past and we can't change it, but it's what we do with the present and future that defines who we are." Yes, exactly, and his present is still shit. He doesn't even like take accountability, so he's not even owning up to his past. If you're gonna be biased or hold Jeffree Star to a different standard than other people, just say, "I'm holding him to a different standard because I like him." Don't be all like, "Oh well, he's changed, like the past is the past, you know, he's really grown from..." No, he hasn't. No, he has not. She also quote tweeted Trisha's tweet that said, "Part 5, Hayden, be mad at him, whatever, but harping down on another human being is beyond scary, and think of potential consequences. This is too much for any human to handle." And Eugenia responded to that saying, "I agree with everything you said so much. This kind of hate is too much for anyone to handle, and I wish people would think about it if it was them getting hated on and how they might feel. No one deserves to be treated like that." Yeah, nobody does deserve to be treated like that, just like how black people don't deserve to be treated like that. Keep the same energy when racist people are racist, and not just be mad at the general public when they call out racist people for being racist. Jeffree Star's still not responding to anything online, but people know that he is like online and active because he's been like liking posts and stuff, and he's also been hanging out with Black China, just completely unfazed by all of this. And James Charles was called by paparazzi. Apparently he called them on it himself. I don't really know or care, but he was asked about the drama and he didn't really say much. He just said that he didn't really want to talk about it. Trisha Paytas also went on a rant on Twitter and Instagram, and a lot of people think that she was talking about Jeffree Star, or at least partially about Jeffree Star. So she tweeted out saying, "So beyond past my limit. I tried taking the high road, but YouTube ain't my career now anyway, so come for me, ruin me, whatever. You know who can talk about my drug abuse? Me. Do you want to know who can't talk about my drug abuse? Everyone else, especially when I haven't used since December. It's gross and you're evil as fuck. These people are lucky I must sleep on this and pray to God I have some peace and forgiveness in my heart in the morning. Hi, if you want to talk shit about me in voice memos, get out. Falsely accusing me of being on drugs, get out. If you never have apologized for anything in life, get out. If you spread false information about my sexual health, get out. If you don't stand up to your friends when shit hits the fan, get out. If you judge any female for showing off her body, get out. Publicly support Trump, who is damaging to 95% of the American population, get out. No time for any bullshit today. Y'all be real happy today is the Lord's Day and I'm headed to church. Otherwise, my happy would be doing a real ass what?
I found out I have dyslexia.
No one manipulating me to do an old school kitchen floor style exposed vid right now. So hashtag Free Britney has had like a recent flare up trending thing. What? It was originally a thing that started in 2009, but then the person that created the post was sent a cease and desist, I believe, and it didn't really gain any traction until I believe like April 2019. But essentially it's about exposing mainly Britney Spears' father and how he's been using her and how her life is just kind of messy in regards to how people use her and treat her and how she doesn't really have control over anything. As we all know, in 2007 and 2008, Britney Spears had like a mental breakdown and she had a standoff with her husband when he wouldn't let her see her children when she was going through a really tough moment in her life, you know, when she shaved her head and all that. And then in February of 2008, she was given a temporary conservatorship because of her mental breakdown and her standoff with her ex-husband. And she tried to get a lawyer to fight this, but she like wasn't allowed because she wasn't competent enough or like she wasn't stable enough or something, which makes no sense. Why does she not have the right to fight for her rights? So this was supposed to be temporary and just last for the circus tour, where a bunch of our long-term choreographers ended up quitting because the schedule was too intense. And later in 2008, the same year, she ended up being involuntarily held at this mental health facility because she was deemed either a danger to herself or others. And then in 2010, she was told that the conservatorship would be permanent. And her father claimed that she had dementia in order to file it. I just realized I didn't really explain what the conservatorship was and what it meant. Basically, all of her rights were handed to her father, so every time she wanted to post something on social media, it either had to be consented by her team or her father. Her money was in complete control of her father. I've heard conflicting stories about this, but she either wasn't allowed to look at her phone without permission or she just wasn't allowed to have a phone at all. This was now permanent and she's now almost 40 and it's still a thing. So her father again claimed that she had dementia in order to file it. I don't know much about dementia, but I know for a fact that a lot of people don't believe that she has dementia because just like the amount of stuff that she's done, and it's just kind of implausible that she could do all these tours, release all these albums, do all these things and have dementia. Not only just have dementia, but have it to the point where she can't take care of herself or her money. In 2011, she was sued by this company because they were claiming that they weren't getting enough money from her because they were like partners or something. And Britney's business manager, Lou Taylor, claimed that it was because they were asking for too high of a pay and Britney didn't want to pay them that much. But she hasn't been in control of her money since 2008. So how was she supposed to give the money to them herself in 2011. In 2012, Britney's then fiance became a co-conservator and she was also signed off to be a judge in the X Factor, and she wasn't in court for any of this. She had no idea either of these things were happening until after they happened, which is absolutely insane. And at this point, she had been deemed too unstable to have her own rights, her own social media, look after her own money and stuff like that. But she had toured twice. She had released 2 albums and is now a judge on X Factor. So she could do all this, but she couldn't be trusted to just look after herself. So in 2018/19, she had been held at this 1-star facility after her show was cancelled. And her team said it was because she was concerned for her dad's health because he had an illness and he needed to be treated or something. So she cancelled the show and checked herself into this 1-star facility. But somebody who had previously worked on the conservatorship came out and said it was actually because her father cancelled the show because she wasn't taking any of her medication, or she was like trying to take less and less of it because she was given an excess of medication in order to be like submissive and do what she's told and stuff like that. And so she was again involuntarily checked into this facility. Even if this person didn't come out and say that it wasn't voluntary, how did she check herself into this facility without her team and her father approving it? Because they would have had to be okay with it, right? Because she doesn't really have control of her own life. At the time, it was a 1-star facility. It's now like 1.5. I think it has like 1 5-star rating with no actual review and then a bunch of 1-star ratings saying like Free Britney and stuff like that. But At the time, I'm pretty sure it was a 1-star rated facility. So they either checked her into this 1-star rated facility because she wasn't taking on medical. Like, why would you check her into a 1-star? Like, you have enough money. So either that, or she chose to check herself in to this 1-star place, and then they just said, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. I feel like anyone that actually cared about her would have like maybe tried to change her mind on where to go at least. So hashtag Free Britney has gotten a lot of traction recently because there was this comment under one of her TikToks that said, wear yellow in your next video if you need help or something, and it was like one of the top comments, and she ended up wearing yellow in her next TikTok. People from her mother, like her mother and people from her mother's side of the family, as well as our kids, like Britney Spears' own kids and her own mother and people like that, have come out to say that Britney's father isn't the best person and that he's just using her, and apparently he wasn't really there for her childhood and he just wasn't the best father and was never really there to take care of her. So it's just weird how he's now the one to have complete control over her entire life when he couldn't even be fucked to be in her life. So the last story I want to talk about is about TikTok. I saw in a recent Snapchat, one of those like Snapchat newspaper stories, that TikTok like doesn't show a lot of people due to like very superficial things. Like one of them would be like ugly people. So it says abnormal body shape, chubby, have obvious bare belly, obese or too thin, not limited to dwarf and this thing that I can't pronounce. And a TikTok representative claimed that the censorship based on looks was an early attempt to prevent bullying, but that the moderation was no longer in place. Quote, represented an earlier blunt attempt at preventing bullying but are no longer in place and were already out of use when the intercept obtained then. TikTokers with physical deformities or disabilities noticed their videos were not being seen or were being removed. Ugly facial looks not limited to just formatted face, fangs, lack of front teeth, senior people, too many wrinkles, obvious facial scars, or facial deformities, not limited to eye disorders, crooked mouth disease, and other disabilities. TikTok again claimed this was to prevent bullying, but also admitted that they wanted to get new users and promote videos that looked good. Moderators for the platform were expected to examine the backgrounds of videos and suppress any videos that looked too poor. The shooting environment is shabby and dilapidated, such as, but not limited to, slums, rural fields, rural beautiful natural scenery could be exempted, dilapidated housing, construction sites, etc. For internal housing background which has no obvious slummy character, only those cases as specified should be labeled, crack on the wall, old and disreputable decorations, extremely dirty and messy. And there was an entire section's rules in the censorship guidelines said to ban videos that depict homosexuality. Censorship ranged from intimate activities between couples to homosexual TV characters. Amidst the Black Lives Matter movement, users are claiming the videos aren't showing if they use certain hashtags like Black Lives Matter. TikTok claimed that the app had a glitch and apologized. That is a lot. Like, how do you... I don't think anyone's gonna buy... I mean, no, people definitely are gonna buy it, but I don't think any reasonable person could logically believe TikTok when they said, oh, it's just for bullying purposes, it was just a glitch and stuff like that. I don't think they've even responded to the LGBTQ section to it because I couldn't find anything about that, but that is just so shady and so sketchy. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video or if you liked me, please like and subscribe, and if you didn't like me, make sure to get in contact with my teachers because I bet you'll have a lot in common, and make sure to stay safe and stay hydrated.